Welcome, elite entrepreneurs and empire builders. I'm your host, Jared Nassif, CEO of Fran Opps, and this is the show where we bring to you the insights and the faces behind vetted and qualified franchise brands, because our hope is to help you franchise your future with both confidence and clarity. And that is what we're doing today. So they are bringing in our guests. I want to introduce to you Timothy Hall, founder and CEO of Silver Bear Swim School. This is one of the most exciting brands that we have had the pleasure of being able to work with for a few reasons, but one, because it's very near and dear to my heart. Our conversation today is centered around this: how protecting children's lives became a franchise. Now, this is one of the most unique conversations we've had on Fran Opps Live, because it's not centered around just a product, and it's not centered around just a service, as many businesses, franchises are, right? And that's not a knock. It's not to put down any other brands that they're just centered around something like that. But it's to elevate, it's to dignify this brand, okay? Because this brand, Silver Bear Swim School, is centered around a mission. All right. Every successful business, I really do believe, they became successful, by a number of variables, but it all started because they solved a problem. But very few people, I think, or very few brands are really built around preventing tragedy and literally help protect lives and lives of young ones. And that's what this entire business is really based on. That's what we're going to dive into. We're going to dive into the Silver Bear Swim School story, where it started, how it evolved, how it became a franchise, and we're going to talk about their model and their system, or how do they teach children critical water safety, swimming skills, how they then help families gain confidence around water, and that's a pretty common fear. And why they exist, how they exist to reduce really the risk of childhood drowning. And it's going to happen through education and training, right? Still today, drowning remains one of the leading causes of accidental death among youth, among children. Therefore, water safety is an issue. And it's one that every parent of young ones, like myself, I got 4 little kids, that we should understand, we should be aware of. And so that's what we're talking about today. It's going to be a great conversation. Make sure you drop your questions in the chat as we go along. I'll make sure we get those asked to the founder himself, Timothy Hall. Man, I'm really excited for this conversation. This is Fran Opps Live. So without further ado, let's franchise your future. Welcome to Fran Opps Live. Man, Tim, welcome to Fran Opps Live, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Jared. Thanks for the great lead. And as happy as my mom might be that you're referring to me as Timothy, that was always her goal. But you, please, for purposes of our conversation, you can call me Tim. So thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay. So no Timothy, no Timmy.
No, definitely no Timmy. That would make my mom mad.
That's good. I was trying to keep it professional, but Tim works for me. So, man, let's dive right in, because I haven't really heard in detail the full breadth of your story and how this brand came to be. I'm a terrible swimmer. I grew up doing, man, what was it? They always give the funny names to kids swim classes. Like you start in tadpoles, and then you move up to whatever, polywogs. I don't know what it is, but I was terrible at it, and I remember doing it early on and just never really enjoyed it. I don't know if I gave up or if my parents just pulled me out because I wasn't no good or whatever, but I've never been great at swimming. And
typical.
Yeah, tell me some of your story, how Silver Bear Swim School came to be and all that kind of stuff.
Well, before I get, I think what you highlighted something I want to come back to, but the story of Silver Bear, first of all, is intrinsically linked with my wife, who is my business partner in this, and she's an integral part of this. So we met on the pool deck at the Olympic Club in San Francisco, swimming for the Masters team there. Her, and oh, by the way, if you meet a beautiful girl on the pool deck and you have the courage and self-esteem to ask her out when you're wearing a Speedo, that says a lot about. So that's
That's
It's a
great.
great love story, but it's also a
Yeah.
great business story. But we had that in our past together. We definitely had that love for swimming and aquatic activities going way back. Her pedigree is much more blue chip than mine. She swam as a Division I scholarship athlete at Cal and was
Mm.
the captain of the women's swim team there. I'm a hack triathlete, um, but I love swimming, and so.
I
But
don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if you it's a hack and a triathlete.
I'm a
Those two
hack
don't go
swimmer compared to what
oxymoron.
she's doing, but
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, but I loved it, and it was a great part of my life for a long time. Still
Yeah.
is today, obviously. And we had that together. And because of her exposure, she did club swimming, rec swimming growing up, taught swim lessons growing up.
Mm.
Her exposure to this concept, the
Hmm.
fully dedicated swim school for little kids, which is very different than how you and I learned how to swim,
Yeah.
um, led us to when we got to our new community. When we moved to Reno, Nevada, we saw a real need for something like that here in this great community of
Huh.
ours, growing community of ours, and that's how the concept of Silver, our new home, was the Silver State of
Okay.
Nevada, and Bear, her family and my family, all being Cal Bears. We got
Oh, okay. Yeah, call back to where you came from. I love that. No. So, but you said you moved there and you noticed a real need for this. Like, surely they have swim lessons for youth, right? The YMCA, I'm sure, does. The local pools probably do. Like, there's got to be some programs out there. So when you say you saw there's a need for this, tell me about that.
Well, you touched on it pretty well. I mean, there are swim lessons,
Hmm.
and I'm not going to get in the business of disparaging anyone's techniques for learning how to swim or teaching kids how to swim. And
Hmm.
community swim lessons and the swim lessons you might get at your local clubs or swim clubs, etc., might be
Yeah.
great. But the fully dedicated concept that we have here at Silver Bear Swim School, where we build indoor facilities so that
Hmm.
we can teach kids year round, and we make it really fun, and we have a very structured progression so that kids are learning not only safety, but they're building up to the 4 different strokes so that they can be
Hmm.
competitive swimmers if they so choose. When they graduate from our program, they're well prepared to walk right into a club team, and that's unique.
Yeah. Right. How long ago did you guys start Silver Bear?
20 years ago. 20 years is our 20-year
20
anniversary.
years
Yeah.
ago. So surely it's evolved quite a bit, I'm sure, since.
Yeah, I mean, we are always trying to fine tune and
Yeah.
enhance our
Okay.
curriculum, and that's again
Yeah.
really where my wife does a lot of that. But the whole idea, when we walked into this, um, we had some strategic, um, we set some strategic goals. One of them
Okay.
was um, that Katie and I decided that we didn't really want to take a second, all the things that entrepreneurs do. Take a second
Mhm.
mortgage out on the house, borrow money from my parents, her parents, quit
Mhm.
our jobs, put everything on the line, just for, we wanted to make money, but just for another job. We decided we really wanted to make our goal to reduce the incidence of childhood drowning in our community if we could. And that felt like something that was worth getting up in the morning for, worth risking it all for. And it just so happened it was a great business goal as well. It turned out to be.
Yeah. So did you guys like when you guys got together, started this relationship, got married, you start talking about this business idea? Was it like we just love swimming? Let's just spread the love of swimming, or did you set out going, I'm really passionate about kids and teaching them, helping them learn the confidence in the water, or is it like this is just all I've ever known? Let's just keep going with. Like, how did you really start the concept of this business?
Well, it's probably a mix of all of it.
Mhm.
There's the entrepreneur piece of it. I think we always wanted to, always had this desire to be entrepreneurs
Yeah.
together. We make each other stronger for sure. We have each other's. We really, luckily, have a good fit for what she's good at, what I'm good at. So we partner well together. And then the
Yeah.
swimming piece of it just felt right. And we just got here. We had a new little baby, and we just wanted to do what we were passionate about. We were swimming together at the Masters here in Reno, and just saw a real need for it here. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there a certain point where you realized that this wasn't just a business opportunity, but it was a mission worth dedicating your life to?
I think the fact that we were new in the community really integrated us quickly, and we really felt the love and the benefits of what this program was doing for other people in the community, and we were
Yeah.
welcomed into it because not just because of that, but it was a nice way to be integrated.
Mm.
Also, for me, coming in, working the program, and seeing what swimming does for kids' self-confidence was a real light bulb for me,
Mm.
because at that age, and we're talking 6 months, we start
Yeah.
teaching kids at 6 months how to swim, and toddlers, there's not a lot of stuff they're doing in their lives at that time where they can actually make marked progression against a skill like that.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
also one that they're fearful. A lot of them are fearful when they get here. There's a lot of unknowns, and when they make some progress in it, it just really, the self-confidence, the self-esteem for them and for their families is amazing.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask, how early do you start with your lessons? Like, how does the curriculum early? What's the earliest age the curriculum starts with?
Well, we'll break it a little bit between our learn to swim toddlers and our babies. The baby swim concept is really an Australian, European. Over there, it's very well developed and very well accepted. Here, we've still got a steep learning curve a little bit in terms of people thinking that they're 6 months old are going to swim. And over there, like, my kids all started in a month. But the reason we
A
started
month into life?
huh?
A month into life?
Yeah, we started right away.
Oh wow!
I mean, well, going way back, a lot of people are born in water, and that's sort of the home birth thing. We didn't do that, but I'm saying
That's fair.
the natural, the infant's natural feelings and acclimations to water is high, and it's a great time to get them in there. They love it. They love it. On the ground, out of water, gravity is their enemy. In water, they're very free to do lots of things they aren't able to do. So it's still new. We've got that learning curve here in the States, but 6 months is where we start, because that's where I can get a pediatrician to tell me that they don't have any chronic issues that might be impacted by swimming. So just for reliability and safety purposes, we start at 6 months.
I see. Could parents start sooner if they wanted to, and just like forego the pediatrician?
If the pediatrician says go, we'll get them in Arizona.
Oh, that's awesome. So, and you mentioned that like one of your favorite things is being able to see the confidence that is built in a child as they continue to grow. Can you share? Do you have any stories or like examples of how you have seen, or how you regularly seen confidence grow within a child and through?
Well, yes, there's specific examples happening every day in here. So, I mean, if I'm going back to my specific examples, I don't get in the pool that much anymore. I've got much better instructors who do a way better job than I do here. But, I know that one of our big curriculum, overriding curriculum goals is making it fun, and also to have, we don't do private lessons. And a lot of people want private lessons because it seems like it'd be better for their kids to get one-on-one attention. But in reality, the small class sizes of 2 to 3 to 4 kids per class allows our scared, unconfident, lack of self-esteem kids to see other kids do it in a fun environment. And once they get into that group and they get their focus away from fear and into fun, and other kids their age doing it, and they get into modeling that, you can, I mean, within from tears to a real sense of self-accomplishment in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, wow. How do you communicate that to the community at large? Because I feel like most parents still kind of view, like, I feel like there's this general perspective of swim lessons that it's just another extracurricular activity that you can do just alongside any of the other hundreds of options for your children. Right? And so let's throw it in the bag with all the other options and see which one our kid really likes, And I think that's the general public view of it, if I'm not mistaken. So how do you educate a community about the difference here and the need for Silver Bear?
Well, Jared, I think it's a good insight, because when I look at my competitive set on a bit from a business standpoint, there's a certain amount of dollars the parents have to spend on their kids, and I'm competing for those dollars, right?
Yep.
I mean, I have a point of difference, pretty significant one, is that most 99% of the people in this country learn how to swim at an early age. So I do have that point of difference. But I would say that 60 to 70% of the people that walk in my front door come in basically because they don't want their kids to drown, right? But through some of the exposure and things that we've just talked about in terms of self-esteem and fun, within 6 weeks, 4 weeks, um, the parents and the kids are hooked because it's a great fun activity that they're making progress towards. And it's one of the reasons why we have a junior swim team in our program, which is a unique thing in our industry. There's not a lot of swim schools you're going to find that have that junior swim program. And that's attributed to my wife, who has that great exposure and has the skill at that level of swim. But they want something to work towards. And it gets out of the just the life-saving benefits to the actual lifetime skill activity that they can be doing for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. So it starts with the life-saving activity.
I think probably a lot of the reasons we got to get our kids in this. Well, you have 4 kids, we got to get our kids in this. We got to learn how to swim, right? But when they get here and they get exposed to our amazing staff and our great curriculum, will start having a lot of fun and start building the self-esteem, they're hooked. Because it's great activity, especially at that age.
Yeah. Oh, and oh my goodness, it is one of the best physical activities you can do for the body. Just, oh my gosh, crazy the how exhausting swimming always leaves me. Like, and I stay pretty active, whether it's in the gym or on the bike or running. But then when I get into a pool and I do a couple laps, I'm like 100 meters in, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm exhausted. This is tiring.
And my daughter's a basketball player. All my kids are swimmers, obviously. They didn't get a choice, but she's really into basketball right now, and she just played a big tournament. And what a better way to recover, because when I was doing triathlon, my first day after any Ironman triathlon was to get in the pool, because it's a good workout, but also the impact on my body and my joints that just got beat up on the bike and running. I don't have to deal with that. It's a great recovery.
Yeah. And so you don't do any triathlons anymore, huh?
I'm 56. I'll do them occasionally, but not the Ironman. The long distance triathlon anymore, I don't have it. I don't think I've got another one in me, maybe. But I've already had my hip replaced. I mean, I'm like an old. I've worn this body and put it away rough a lot of times, and I'm starting to pay the price a little bit now. Yeah.
Worn this body and put it away. I like that. That's good. Yeah. Well, you've built a successful business around a meaningful cause, right? So what have you learned about the relationship between purpose and profit?
I want to say this without sounding like I talk a good game, Jared. Like I'm really good at like spouting all this wonderful stuff. I'm not always, and most of the time I need to say it so that I can remind myself. I'm not saying I'm perfect with this, but I do think I've learned that my highest, best use as a human being is when I'm setting my goals a little bit above some of the more material things that I want, that I get caught up in a lot. And then I find that I'm really able to achieve a lot higher goals when I'm setting them higher than paying the bills, than making money, than making payroll. And also, I'm just a happier person when I'm getting up in the morning doing something that feels like it's got a higher cause. And quite honestly, it's trickled down amazingly to this incredible staff we have working. We have some of the most amazing. We've got 116 to 22-year-old kids working for us, and they're just amazing. And they all buy into this idea that we're doing something more here than collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, man, wow. That's incredibly profound to think, to try to set your goal.
Don't say that, because then I feel like it. Like
Well, it is because I think like too many people I speak to, not too many, a lot of the people I speak to, that I try to help them find a business. Like usually, I always start with Simon Sinek. Start with why, right? I try to get into why are you doing this? Why do you want to own a business? What's the ultimate purpose? And usually the first kind of answer they give me, pretty face value, and it's never the real answer. So I usually try to dig a little deeper, like, okay, great. So you want financial freedom. What does that mean? What does that look like? Why does that matter? But when you achieve that, then what, And I think what you're saying kind of hits on that. Is like, man, when you set these goals of like, I want to hit a certain amount in the bank, or I want to be able to control my own schedule and not have anybody tell me what to do. And it's like, okay, cool. For what purpose. Like when you get there, what we find is that when people get there, usually it's not sufficient. They still find themselves lacking and wanting something else. And that's
I
what
think
sometimes I
you
try to help them understand is like, you may say this is what you want, you may think this is what you want, but I'm going to tell you there's going to be another level or two deeper of like why this matters to you. You might not even be aware.
you exemplify that really well, because I feel like in the short time we've got to know each other,
Yeah.
you're doing that. You see how franchising can take, and I have too, take a family like mine and create wealth and independence, and all, and you've taken that as something you want to try to bring to other people. That's what we try to bring to other families, and why we decided to franchise was what a gift we could be giving to other families like we were 20 years ago. So it's trickled down to our staff. It's trickled down to our why we franchised for exactly that reason. What a great gift to be able to give to other families around the country, and also the swimming benefits to other communities and safety, etc. So it's a better way to get up in the morning. And your point, the business, the strategic financial business aspects don't have to be mutually exclusive with the concept of why I'm doing this.
Yeah, it's spot on. I feel like I often feel like I'm preaching to a brick wall when I'm talking to some people, because they'll agree with me, like, yeah, you're right, like I want to find something with a mission and a purpose, but there's still, I feel like for a lot of people there's still something in the back of their minds kind of like they've convinced themselves like there's no real money, and that I would forego something with that fulfills a purpose of mine, an affinity of mine, so that I can achieve something that produces more income. And it's like, why would you sacrifice the value that you could provide to someone based on maybe what's been placed on your heart, on your mind, that your experiences have led to, your skill sets have led to? Why not lean into that? Because there is profit to be made, and can be made, a great deal of it. They do not have to be mutually exclusive. Like, lean into that, give it all you got, like, and man, it can be life-changing for you, but in a number of different ways. But I mean,
it's not work. It's not work, right?
For as Silver Bear continues to grow and will continue to grow, how will you maintain, how will you make sure that this mission really doesn't get diluted or lost along the way?
I think it was a sort of, it evolved organically, because when Katie and I were first doing this, we knew all the families, we knew all the kids. We'd see them in the grocery store, we'd see them at school pickups, and we could physically manipulate that and embody that, right? As we got bigger, we're running over 3,500 kids a week through our schools, not including our franchises. And so that ability to have a one-on-one touch and contact with all those people anymore went away. So we had to evolve our executive level strategic goals, I'll say, in that we now really focus on making working at Silver Bear or being a part of our franchise family an actual family. And if you're in the Silver Bear network, you're a family, and you feel that love and you feel that connection and the goal of what we're doing for our communities around the country. And so it's kind of a higher level. We're not in the minutia of dealing with the kids anymore, but we've really worked hard to make sure that it trickles down through our staff and our franchisees and their staff.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question at all?
Yeah, for sure. Get more clear, if you can, on the kinds of franchisees you're looking for. Who are you looking for? You're looking for people that they need swim experience. They got to be good in a pool. And then on top of that, what else do you need to see?
Well, I will say that we are definitely in aggressive growth mode, but not to the point where we are seeking out. We're trying to allow organically the people that feel like they're a good fit to come to us. And that means, does it feel like you're passionate about kids? Are you passionate about aquatics? And do you want to make a lot of money? I mean, it's a good combination of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're missing one of them, it probably isn't a great fit. And it doesn't mean you have to be a great swimmer. It does mean that you have to see the value in the aquatic activities. So when somebody graduates, they get to ring a bell and they get everyone to cheer for them. I don't know if you heard
No
that,
way.
but that's
Yeah.
when self, the whole family comes out and they take pictures of it. It's just an amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Graduates, is that like, you mean like when they're officially done with all the curriculum, or is like
Next
every
level.
class you can graduate and go to the next one? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So like I said, we have a very structured progression so that
Yeah.
we're learning things in the right way. So that when we get to the next level, we're able to do the next activity. And you get a ribbon, you get to ring the bell. Your parents come out and take pictures. It's really fun.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have are you seeing kids like, of course you're protecting children, you're helping them build confidence in the pool, but then you mentioned they evolve and develop these other skill sets and go on. Are you seeing kids and youth go on to compete and turn this into more than just a confidence thing?
I'm going to butcher this, and I
Okay.
don't want to overpromise this, but I will say that when my kids were competing and we were going to the state championships for Nevada,
Okay.
65% of the kids there were Silver Bear alumni.
No way.
I mean, it's just like from Northern Nevada, yeah. But we're not
Wow.
in Southern Nevada, but yeah. So it just, and part of that is we just had built this great love for a sport that wasn't really filled a gap there. So
Yeah, man, proof that the product works, proof that the service
maybe,
is
Katie, if you're watching, can you dive in and put a little comment in and tell us exactly what that number is so I don't make some
incredible.
horrible on that. There a large proportion every time we go to our state meets are Silver Bear alumni.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. Oh my goodness.
But I do want to make sure, and you and I briefly touched on this through some of our earlier correspondence, that and it's always important for me to remind the public at large. And one of our goals is understanding that education and watching your kids around the pool, not just learning how to swim, is the number one. It's a team effort. Take your CPR classes, put a fence around your pool, or if you're not around the water that doesn't have a fence around it, please watch your kids around it and teach them how to swim. This is the tragedies that happen around water are not preventable by kids learning how to swim. It helps. We have examples of all the time of kids falling in, doing what we taught them to do, which is turn around and grab the wall. Of course, someone's watching them do this. That's how we know it is. But it's got to be, one of the biggest things is group activities, pool parties. The second you get around pool parties, parents, myself included, start to let their guard down because there's lifeguards, there's other people watching, and that's when accidents can happen. So we'll have water watchers designated to watch your kids. Please teach them how to swim, learn how to love and respect the water, learn CPR. This is not just about, this is one key component of having safer kids around water, but it is not the only thing.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's well said. Thank you for kind of, and that's a great place to even kind of wrap it up too. I appreciate you kind of putting a bow on that. But if you are watching this right now, you're interested, intrigued, you want to learn a little bit more about Silver Bear, you want to connect with Tim and or Katie and meet some of the team and dive into some of the more specifics, the details of this operation and those kinds of things. All you need to do right now is just type protect in the comments. Put protect in the comments either right now on Facebook or over on LinkedIn, or even if you're watching this 6-12 months from now, put protect in the comments and we'll reach out and kind of tell you about some next steps. But while they're doing that, Tim, if there was one message that you hope every parent and every entrepreneur takes away from today's conversation, what would it be?
I think that I'm glad that my wife and I had the foresight to decide when we were putting it on the line to find a reason why we wanted to get up. Find a reason why we wanted to get up in the morning. It was worth anything. It doesn't have to be entrepreneurship if you're going to work, but find something that you want to be getting up for and doing that feels like it's got a bigger purpose. I know it sounds a little preachy. I hate to say it that way, but it certainly has served us well in terms of. And guess what? That higher purpose actually manifested in a wonderful financial and life in general for us, above and beyond what we could have ever hoped for. So
Yeah.
I think that that's sort of one of the bigger things that I would say. And also check out your local swim lessons. If you haven't seen what a fully dedicated swim school looks like, it's worth checking out. And if you're really interested in the business, we'd love to get you out here, get you some videos to see what this looks like. If you haven't seen it in action, you really
Yeah.
can't appreciate what's going on here. So it's pretty
Yeah.
neat.
Wow. Yeah, that's so good. Tim, thank you seriously for being a part of this, for sharing some of the story, for talking at a high level about Silver Bear and kind of where it came from and how it's evolved, how it's continuing to grow and really lead the way in helping protect children's lives. And that's a big part of where this business starts and how you're reaching clients, customers, but it's definitely not the only aspect and definitely not where it ends. And so I love the evolution of how these kids are growing, building confidence. And then from there, it goes beyond just safety, but becomes a hobby, becomes a place to compete, becomes a almost an identity piece for these children, I'm sure. So just thank you genuinely for sharing and be a part of this. I'm excited to connect you with other like-minded individuals who, yes, will have dreams of entrepreneurship and want to own their own businesses, but want to do a business that provides incredible, real value to the lives of other families and kids and communities at large. And I believe that's what Silver Bear is doing here. So thanks for being a part of this.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Good deal. All right, everyone. Until next time. See you later. Have a good one.